Hey there, thanks for tuning in. We have a guest here today with us, David from Australia, and he is the founder of Kailash Ashram, a father, a yogi, an ex-sniper, right? And David, welcome to this interview. So happy to have you here.
Happy to be with you again, Vishnu.
Yeah, I think we have been working almost a year now.
Yeah, just coming
Yeah.
up, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost a year now. So let's get start with the first thing first. Like, what inspired you to found Kailash Ashram? Like from a soldier to a yogi, that transformation.
Yeah. So I went through I'd practiced hatha yoga since 18 years old. So I wasn't a stranger to yoga in general, even whilst I was in the army, but the practice was very on the physical level. And then in 2017, meditation entered my life whilst I was still in the army, and that meant that completely changed my life. And so I left the army and really started healing and growing and finding a lot of inner peace from a traditional Himalayan meditation practice, Samarpandhyan.
Yeah.
And so I studied under a living master in that tradition, and after about 6 months or a year, found myself outside of the army with not much to do, and really fate brought me to the mountains in Australia. And so I felt a really strong inner call to share what had worked for me. And so it was really when I met my wife, who when I met her, I didn't realize she was my wife at the time. But when I met Rajni, who at a meditation workshop in India, we had a really shared vision of helping other people and living in community and supporting people. And so it's with her support that we really came up with the idea to run a retreat center. And then after a few years of doing that, we thought, okay, well, instead of focusing on lots of different things, let's go really, really deep with the practices of meditation and yoga. So we closed our doors to everything else and just focused on meditation and yoga. And that's when we received the blessing from our guru to become an ashram.
Yeah, great. So I know that I'm also more of a spiritual guy, and yeah, I can say you're my spiritual brother.
For sure.
Yes. So yeah, when when it comes to online marketing, like I didn't find so much people like that. You don't like traditional online marketing methods.
Yeah, I when I first started this journey, I hated marketing. I thought it was the devil. I thought it was the opposite of what we were doing here at the ashram. But we were running retreats and we were struggling to get the retreats full of people. And we're 3.5 hours from the nearest big city, so we're in the middle of nowhere. And I realized that somewhere in that journey where I realized that if we didn't change how we were doing our business, we would just continue to get not many people showing up, and that it wouldn't be viable. We couldn't keep the doors open. I mean, if you don't have people coming on the retreats, then we can't pay the mortgages. We can't, we're not serving, we're not helping. And so I started studying myself a little bit into the digital marketing space, and found some quite good results early with some changes in my own thinking. So I realized that marketing is just communication, and I love talking. I love communicating with people. And so once some of those mental blocks got changed, I was able to see that there were some really interesting ways of using digital marketing to help communicate the message and get people onto these retreats that we were running. And so what I did, I mean, I give most things a go myself, and And that was a good approach to start with. But after a few months, I realized that I mean, it was getting some small results, but it was overwhelming me. And I didn't know how to focus my energy and my effort on higher quality people. And so, when we first connected, it was that
That
well, maybe
moment.
I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, it was then really, over the last year working with you that things have just gone better and better and better as we've collaborated and seen what worked and also what didn't work
Yeah.
and let those things go away.
Yeah. Great, great, great. I think uh, being a spiritual guy myself also, I felt this with my guru also. Like people want these kind of services for free, right? Or
Yeah.
with minimum cost. And this is like what you are offering is a big transformation, because I know I have that background, spiritual background, so that I can understand.
Yeah.
Especially in India, in ancient times, people provide gold and silver to the master,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That is the value. But yeah, unfortunately, it is the mentality, like we need to get this, or you should do this for free. So we
Yes.
have to live, right? We have to provide for our family as well. So if
Yes.
you are doing on a job, if you or you should be rich to do that for free,
Yeah.
then
I
you
mean,
can do. But yeah,
yeah, it's interesting because sometimes even people who a lot of the time spiritual program is run by charity and not for profit, and as a consequence they take money off people from donation, and because it's nobody's money, it's the organization, they waste it and they're
yeah,
not very effective. But when it's an individual and it's like, oh wow, as an organization we're very, very small, if we were bad with our money, then we close. We don't have people donating to us.
yeah,
So the only way that our ashram is able to stay open is to have a good commercial economic basis. And the work with the retreats that we do is that basis for our ashram. And so any of the free things that we can offer to people in the future are only possible because of our good work in
yeah,
getting the economic basis of the organization sorted through the commercial retreats. But we're a family run space, so even though we charge money and we charge good money, because we don't want to work with people who are not wanting change. That's something I worked out. I used to think that if you make it cheap, that everybody can have access to it. But what ends up happening is you attract people who don't want to actually go
yeah,
very deep with their own practice, and so they just stay at the very surface level. Whereas, our retreats are a significant investment for most of the people who come. So they come with the mindset and the attitude that they want to change, and
yeah,
that means that we can help them. If
yeah,
somebody just wants a cheap weekend with some cheap meals, they're going to stay stuck in their life for the rest of their life,
yeah,
until they really want some change.
yeah. I think,
Um,
well, if there is a more supply, then the demand is less, I guess. Um, that is the thing. Also, like if it is free, if anybody can do at any time, then there is no demand for it.
as my guru says, that the beggar confuses a diamond for a piece of broken glass.
Yeah,
You have to have eyes to see what is being offered. Now, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for Himalayan meditation. I would have taken my own life.
yeah,
So some of the people I now speak to, thanks to the system that we've built, thanks to getting a good message out, are people who are really struggling. And so, I've literally had people calling me and they're like on the edge of suicide. And I'm like, wow, they're not in a good place. Like they don't want to live anymore. And I go, right, well, if you want to change, here's a meditation practice. So we give them online resources to start immediately, but then they show up, put some money into a retreat, but more importantly, show up and connect to the practices. And now, they're happy. They're working through their past instead of being a prisoner to it. So we realized that this sort of work is much more rewarding than just giving people like a nice place to stay for a few days, where we feel like we're actually a part of something deeper that is going on.
Yeah. Also, you just said it like having the systems, be it in marketing or in operations, it's really necessary. When people get started, it's okay, you are doing everything yourself, but then you should have systems in place to leverage your time, your money.
Yeah, I mean, when I built my first system with only the knowledge I could get together for free or with small payments online in different study and courses, I was like, I wasn't even collecting people's emails. They would just like, I didn't even have an email list when I started this. So I'm like, I don't know, man, like someone sends an email, we have our email on a website, but I wasn't recording their emails anywhere where I was doing no communication to these people. And so when people they would click on an ad, they would land on our website, get confused and disappear. And I had no idea if it was good, if it was effective or anything like that. I had no visibility. And I didn't even know that you could understand these things. And so over the process of building an application, a funnel or a system where people come from social media or from one of our links on a YouTube video, they come into a very powerfully written page where they learn about me and my wife. They're invited to make an application. And so over this journey of building a better and better system, what we've been able to do is understand where people are at their journey, whether or not they are close to putting in an application. If they have put in an application, then they're almost close to getting on a retreat. And if they're just looking, that's fine as well. And so now our energy can be spent on people who are further down that pipeline, who are actually interested in a retreat, rather than me having to call thousands of people trying to understand if they want to learn more. And so it's been a really good way to minimize my time, and also get the clarity of, okay, if we spend $1,000, how much does that give us in terms of retreat sales? And we know those numbers now. And so it's not guesswork anymore. When we first started, it was guessing. I mean, when I first started, I thought $100 on Facebook ads was a lot of money. Like and I was like, I didn't even know what was what. I'm like, I don't know. I just throw a random $100 at a Facebook ad and I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
And now, like, without hesitating, we can spend between $3,000 and $5,000 a month, on ads, because we know that it will result in a large number more of people coming out here on retreat.
Yeah.
And so, to take the guesswork out of the process has meant a lot less stress for me. And it means that I can focus my energy onto the things that are really important for me to do, which is communicating to people who are thinking about joining a retreat. And so I spend my time running the retreats, communicating to people who are interested in the retreats, and then, working on the other aspects of the business and the ashram.
Yeah, cool. So, you already said it, but what was your experience or what was your problem before starting to work with me? I understand it's more of a technical side.
Yeah. So look, from a technical point of view, I think the problem was there was a lack of confidence. That's the first thing. I didn't know if I was getting good results. And so I did want to engage the services of someone who could tell me, like, hey, this is good, this you could change, this is, what I had initially in my system was lots of friction. So lots of areas where people had to click on another website and click on another page and click on another page. And so you would just lose people along there. And so we tried removing some of the friction, and then I got too many people contacting me who weren't interested in retreats.
Yeah.
So we had to then bring back some more friction and put in an application and
qualify them.
Exactly, qualifying them, pre-qualifying them. We tried we tried different things like free trainings, and that attracted the wrong sort of people. So we built that, and we can still use some of the material that we created, but that system just didn't translate to the it didn't speak to the people that were actually booking retreats. And so some of these things you only learn by doing. But what I then learned was that having good segmentation of where people are at in their journey, means that you can manage your time. Otherwise, someone who just put their email in versus somebody, now we've got a system where I can tell which emails they're opening, like how often they're engaged with our content. If they've put in an application, and I go, well, if I'm going to call someone, I want to call somebody who's interested in the retreat, not someone who just put their email in online for free. And so, we're that system, I think that it's been really good working collaboratively. And I think that the more education that I've worked on having in my own knowledge in the digital marketing space has meant that I can use your experience to as a sounding board.
To complement.
Yes, they complement. And something that I don't have the time for, and I don't have the mindset for, is tracking the numbers and being sure that the campaigns are actually okay. And so, I think I would have spent some of them I just wasn't tracking the effectiveness at all. And so because of your good work in being very, very methodical and on a daily basis, working out what the ad spend is, what it's translating to in terms of leads and applications and sales, it means that if things start not working right, we can change before it gets too bad. Right. Like the way I see it, it's like the guidance system for the rocket, right? You can shoot a rocket, and if it doesn't have GPS guidance, it's dumb. They call it a dumb bomb. And in World War II, you would have to fire millions of these things just because you go, the more numbers, the better. But because each month we're able to work out what campaigns are working and what ones aren't. I mean, that's something that's just part and parcel of marketing, is that the market doesn't lie. Right? You can love your ad, you can love all of the copy, the images, you think it's going to do well, and then, man, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, it's not about me, it's about what speaks to the people who are looking on the other end. And so having the guidance system to go, okay, let's not put our money on that, means that we can cut off those campaigns or avenues that are not working. And so that level of clarity is just very, very, very valuable for me.
Tracking the metrics, it's really essential.
It's essential. Otherwise, you're guessing.
I think I started as a marketing executive, right? So in Dubai, and I used to go and meet people, take appointments and meet people. That's how I used to do. Then I close the deal, close the business like that. But so in those times I have to travel a lot, right? Hardly I can meet, or I can call 10 or 20, 30 people maximum 30 people. But now I, sitting at my place, I can show ads to people, right?
Yes.
So I think that is giving me kind of, relief, or like that is giving me the adrenaline rush. Like I don't have to go and meet these people, right? To convert as a customer. So I think
this is as I've learned to get over myself, and just I don't care if people at the start of the journey, maybe I'm like, oh no, I'm in a video on an ad and people are looking at it. Now I'm like, man, what's actually happened in the last year is my confidence has gone higher in what I believe that it's my purpose to do. And so, you know, I like the fact that I can put us out there and people can work out if they want to listen to me or not. And if they do, then they read our page. And if they like that story, that is me, that is my story. If they like that and they want to have a conversation with me, then they book a call.
Yeah.
And then I'm having a conversation. They put in a heap of details. And so then I have a conversation with them after they're already motivated and interested. So I'm not having to speak to people who are just like, who don't know anything
who are
about
just
me.
here to check out what's happening, what you're offering.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, that where I'd like to go and where I see, you know, the growth of where I'd like to take our direction is towards you know, organic, having the time and the space to do more organic content. But the thing with organic content, there is no fast growth. It is just a slow, methodical process. You want to grow on YouTube, you know, post one video every week for 2 years and then complain that you're not growing. You can't turn that on. So if I need to sell a retreat next month, I could make all the YouTube videos I want and it's not going to translate to sales. It's not going to get people here. Facebook, Meta, Instagram ads, there's millions of people on those platforms and you can pay to have that time in front of them. And so, you know, I actually believe the retreat that we share, if they're struggling and scrolling, what we will teach them on the retreat will help them get off of social media. So I think it's like I'm attacking them from inside.
You are removing them from social media actually.
Exactly. But I get into social media to help pull them out. I don't use social media really. I'm not a user, but I'm on it a lot. I pay to be there on a lot because it has a good side. It also has a very dark side. And the people that we find on our retreats are often caught by some of the more dark side of social media. So, you know, I mean, I really enjoy the work that we do. And I think that that's really, really important as well, is to have a message and a purpose. So for me, you know, my idea of what sales and marketing was, you know, maybe selling people things that they don't need, you know, creating problems to sell them the solution, which that was my misunderstanding. I believe in what we share with people. So, and I see it work in their lives as well. So having that really deep sense of integrity means, and knowing that you do too, and knowing that you've got a really strong integrity and a strong personal practice and faith and belief, means that I can go, right, well, like this isn't just about business for the sake of business. It is also, it's business that can make, yes, your life better, my life better, but also the lives better of the people that we're reaching. And so, you know, as an ashram, like it's super important for us to be in our integrity with that message that we share. And so the people that we engage for support in that process is very, very, very important to us. And so, you know, this is why we've kept the relationship with you over a year or nearly a year now, is because there is a sense of integrity and honesty. You know, there's probably areas, you know, there are some months where there isn't as much work to do and you could be lazier, but you also then push to make sure that you're doing a good job and that our arrangement is fair, without getting too, what time did Vishnu start working? Okay, we got to bill him for next. He's got to bill me for another 6 minutes. We've got a trustful relationship. And for me, that's super, super important. You know, especially in this, you know, people look at like managers and things on platforms like Upwork and all of those other sorts of things. It's a very different vibe. Yeah, I'm sure there's some okay people on there too as well. There's nothing wrong with it, but you know, I much prefer to have a good relationship, and if it works, then keep that going forward. And that's been my experience this far. It's been a joy to work, and really am excited about where it goes. I mean, we don't need to take over the world. Like, I think I'm happy. I'm not chasing too many materialistic goals. But the support in this last year has enabled us to go from an operating loss to profit. So that's moving in the right direction, right? Like,
that is our North Pole. That is our North Pole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going up, and so like there's no I don't think there's a formula for success, but there is principles to live by. And if you live by those principles, when you encounter difficult situations, like I just spent all this time making an online training, let's advertise it, and then no one buys it. The principle of truth is like, well, okay, like this is the results. It didn't
convert.
Didn't convert. Okay, what can we then do? And so I think that having a conversation versus thinking that marketing and sales is just a tick box exercise of you just follow X, Y, and Z, and then you get money out the other side, is like, no. If it was that simple, then everybody would be rich, and people aren't. So there is always going to be risk. And then if there is going to be risk, well, how do you navigate through that risk? And for me, that is good communication and good principles and good integrity. And, that understanding our own weaknesses. For me personally, I don't have the diligence to track numbers every day. I have 2 children and an ashram to run. Oh man, like that is a lot of busy work for me. But more than just getting the numbers in the spreadsheet, the interpretation and the knowledge of what those metrics are, like, is this good? Yes, this is in line with sort of industry average. Like that, having that knowledge coming from you has been very, very useful, so that we can make sure that we're not overspending, and also so that we're not underspending. Like that was probably a big problem in the past. We weren't charging enough, but we were also underspending on our advertising.
I think you almost doubled the cost, right? Retreat cost.
More, more than doubled the cost, tripled the cost in a year.
I remember, why don't you follow with the past customers? Then they are like, the cost is almost double. And they are not the target audience now.
Yeah. And you know what? They are also the people who
are really invested. Yeah.
If the connection was because it was cheap, then guess what? Their commitment to show up and do the things that we teach them is also minimal. And like we've tried everything from donation, scholarship, cheap prices, and expensive prices. And I can look myself in the mirror and know that I'm giving more value than what I'm charging. And so I know how much what I share can help somebody go from maybe being in a difficult place in life to if they had 1/10 of what the grace has come into my life after these practices, then they would think that this is definitely a good investment, and I've had so many riches come in my life, not material riches, but my wife, the place I live, my children, and my own sanity. And so I think like those things are priceless for me. I would give all of my money for any one of those things. And so, if people are watching and are, looking forward to share their thing with the world, like sharing those things that worked for them is like sharing something that's changed you means that you attract other people who who resonate with that.
Yeah.
And you know, like that's very different than a lot of what is out there, which is people just copy each other and then they sell things that they don't believe in. It's sad.
Yeah, when you said about integrity, this also came to in my mind. Like I told you, why don't we sell the courses? Because the fulfillment mechanism is easy, right? You just have to create the videos and weekly support. But you weren't ready for that. You said you can only provide the transformation through retreats, like a physical retreat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people I see, okay, if this works, if this can make money, yes, come on, come, let's do it. But you are entirely different.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, and it's like, what is for us, we've had to understand and work out, like, there's always limited time and limited energy. Where do you put that time and energy? And you know, down the track, maybe we look at expanding so we can reach a global audience. That would be great, and it'd be great to scale up and share with people everywhere. But if our biggest transformation comes from what we do here, and there's still area for improvement with what we're doing with our physical in-person retreats, chasing money is just going to increase distractions. And so the other thing that we're really working on building in a strong way is our community. And so just like, you know, you need to put attention and time and energy into something for it to grow. And so if we chase
Money.
Digital millions at the expense of connecting to the people who've already been here and who are part of our community, then that community is going to shrink and die. And so one day, yes, maybe, you know, like sharing that message. But again, the mindset shift is, am I chasing the money, or am I bringing something of value to people who need it because it is good? And so I can see the part of me that wants money, and I have to be very careful, because if I focus on bringing value, then that's real service. If I focus on taking money, that's just materialism. It's not spiritual anymore. It's just greed. And so I've had to be very careful, because a lot of people in the digital marketing space are greedy and they're chasing money. They're not chasing the opportunity to provide people value. And so, you know, that's been very important.
Then they end up becoming a marketer. You know, they start doing marketing, and then they start teaching marketing. That is the
right. Exactly. And it's rats eating rats, and the digital marketing space is you know, there's a lot of aspiration that is sold that is based off of making money. And so learning these strategies, you know, you have to be, as somebody who has a physical brick and mortar premises, one has to have their eyes open to see what sells marketing is different than what sells, for us, transformation via spiritual practice. When you're targeting health, it's a different thing than targeting wealth. It's easy to target people wealth because it's just the classic get rich quick scheme. And people fall for that all the time, because everyone wants more money for less work quicker than possible. Health it requires work. You have to show up to do some work if you want to become healthy. You can't, if you're like 200 kilos, you can't get down to 100 kilos by doing nothing. You have to do some work. And same spiritually, if people are out of alignment, they have to show up and do work. And so as a marketer, or as somebody communicating a health product, it has to be done in a manner that is very understanding of where the person is at their journey, and also understanding the difficulties that people have in paying money to be healthy. People will pay money to earn money. If I said, give me $1,000 today, and in a week I give you $10,000, there would be a line of people coming ready to give me $1,000 because I can turn it into 10 for them. If I said, give me $1,000 and I'll make your life 100 times better, I'll make you be able to look yourself in the mirror so you love yourself, but it'll take you like maybe a few years of meditation. No one is going to come and pay me because nobody wants to do a few years of meditation to get the results. They want to get rich quick. And so having to learn how to speak to people, has been very, very, very important for us. And before I even started this, I didn't even really have a niche that I understood. Now I know our niche that brings in 80-90% of our business. And those are people who are at a place in their life where they actually really deserve the help. And they're often in a position where they do have some money to invest, but they don't know how to change. And so a lot of the people who are earlier on in their journey, who are still kind of trying lots of different things, they don't actually want to change. They just want to try a lot of different things in their life and have fun. The people we end up reaching, they actually want the change. And so understanding through trial and error, it's crazy, we even tracking down to email open rates through to like click-through rates and seeing, oh, this one email, the tone is too strong and people don't like this. No one clicks on the link because the tone is wrong. Then I've had to go back through and change the emails so that people feel spoken to. We still get people complaining that we send too many emails, but
no, that would be there. Like,
no matter what.
If you are sending 100 emails and if it is transforming at least one guy, then it's it's worth it.
Exactly.
Rather than complaining, 10 people complaining about it.
And look, the demographic we're facing, a lot of the time, people struggle with making decisions to help themselves. And so if we don't send emails, they don't help themselves. If we send emails, they complain that we're sending emails, but at least they might start helping themselves. So I'm like, well, okay. If some people complain, oh, too many emails, I'm like, there's an unsubscribe button, like click it. But like we in the past, like we didn't even have a regular email provider that we were using. And so technically speaking, what you've been able to bring in and understanding how those systems link in and speak to each other has been so vital that it means now I can segment my list of email addresses to people. Oh, okay, I want to just communicate people who've applied in the last X amount of days and who have only opened one of our emails before. And I can choose, I want to send this message to these people, or I want to send this message to these people. And the technology is there to do it. You just need somebody to, you need to either go and spend hundreds of hours learning it and doing it wrong, or you can pay somebody who knows what they're doing to help guide you through that process and make sure that everything is linked up and working the way it is. And so, that some of the first work that we did was the biggest teacher for me, because I saw the system that you were able to bring and show me and go, that's how it all works. Cool. And so now, if I need to, I can get into the back end and I understand things. I don't love to, but I still have that knowledge. And I think that that's something really important for people who are considering, utilizing you as a digital mentor, as a guide in this marketing space, as somebody who can provide that service, is that you still need to do your own education so that you've got that awareness, because that means that you're able to speak the language of marketing a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, because I think if I didn't do all of the self-study as well, we wouldn't have as good conversations about different things to try. And so,
Yeah.
you know, education is never wasted, and it's not as bad and as scary as I thought it was going to be. It's actually kind of fun. Some of the marketing stuff is actually quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, you know, twice a week I send emails to our list and I enjoy writing them. And so the energy that's in them, people like that, you
Yeah.
know, and we get some good feedback now.
And it is like being omnipresent. You are there on ads, Facebook ads, you are there on emails. Then now we started with YouTube ads also. So you are literally everywhere. But yeah, that help people to transform. That is our end goal.
Definitely. I mean, I was just at the pharmacy in our local town, and this woman behind the counter is like, "Oh, it's you." And I'm like, this fucking person, man. And she's like, "Oh, I've been seeing your stuff online for years. I've been meaning, my sister's messaging me, and we're like, when are we going to go and check this out?" And so it's crazy, man. People are actually like stopping me now, going like, "I know you." And I'm like, I just tell people, I'm like, "Man, I spend so much money on Facebook ads. I'm so glad that you know me," because I have no shame in it. I have no shame. And the
Yeah.
person who's just working at a pharmacy is like, "Wow, I really want to come and check you out." And so I think a lot of the stuff in the digital marketing space is geared towards very quick conversions,
Yeah.
especially with digital products. And something that I've had to learn with the retreat marketing and having a physical premises is you can't force this thing. Like you've got to,
Exactly.
it's the customer journey is sometimes 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah.
And so yes, these systems that drive for a conversion, i.e. getting someone on a retreat today, they're good to have, but they're not the only thing. And so they're a part of the system. They're not the whole system. And so
Yeah.
I definitely have seen other people kind of just focus on the really quick conversion, and that's not how you build a business long term. And so, you know, I think yeah, like spending those
Yeah.
times on
And that consistency, being
yes,
consistent. Like uh, I see in Facebook ads, especially people just get started with ads and it is not converting, right? Then they
yeah,
stop. Then they stop. People are wrong. The business is wrong. Facebook ads is wrong. But that is
yeah,
not the case. The demand is not there. They take it personally, first of all. They take things personally.
yeah,
And if demand is not there, you should tweak the product, right?
yeah,
Yeah, my idea is also that, like, provide a world-class product so that we don't have to do much marketing, right? The product
yeah.
speaks for itself. Yeah.
But it's crazy how powerful the marketing, everything from the copy of the ads through to what message and images you use on a funnel, and then how you follow people up changes not just conversion numbers, but the type of people that come to the thing that we're running, and also the sort of experience we have as facilitators. So when we were advertising the facilities, i.e. the location and the beautiful surroundings, we were attracting people who wanted the facilities
Yeah.
and the mountains, and they wouldn't listen to what we actually had to teach them because they just wanted to be in nature.
Yeah.
When we changed the message towards being about our own story of transformation, then suddenly people wanted to learn from us. And so they came out here, and it's the sales and marketing is the pipeline for two people to meet. And then those people meet us out here physically, and we have a better experience because of the marketing system. You know, because it has got rid of people who don't want to listen to us.
Yeah.
You know, and there are plenty of people, like people put horrible comments on our Facebook ads from time to time, trolls and spam, and they're probably bots as well, or whatever, just nonsense. We delete it, we move on. The people who actually resonate with us, when they do finally come out here, the same story. They're like, I was sitting there, I was scrolling on Facebook one day and I saw your face pop up. And I'm like, who is this guy? And then I clicked on the button and I read your story and something really touched me. So I wanted to meet you. And then we have a conversation. And then they come out here and they're like a brother or a sister.
Yeah.
And I share my heart and soul with them. And then their life changes for the better. And I'm like, if I didn't have the courage to put my face on Facebook and have that connection with this person through the ad,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be out here. And so I have to be very grateful for the platform of social media. I think it has its problems, but I'm so grateful for that platform to be able to buy time in front of people.
Yeah.
Why? Because I believe in what I'm doing. And if you're not willing to pay to advertise yourself, how much do you actually believe in your message? I think to myself sometimes today, like, would Jesus Christ, if he was incarnate today, would he have a business running it on ads? Would be he sharing his message as far and wide as he could? Yes.
Yes.
I think he would, because he believed in his message. And so it's not anti-spiritual and it's not against a deeper purpose to be sharing that. It's actually a really we have to use the system that we were born in, not hate it and pretend like, we can just build some idealistic community in the mountains and escape capitalism. It's like, no, man, the whole world is capitalist. Right. So we use it to help people have spiritual transformation. We don't ignore the system that's in front of us. Yeah. And so, I realized 2 years ago, 3 years ago, my hate for marketing, my distrust of marketing and ads and hate of social media was because I didn't actually believe enough in what I was doing. And as the product, as the retreats, as the practices as I saw how much more powerful they really were for me and other people I was sharing them with, then it's felt very, very natural to communicate about it. If someone is watching this and they don't believe in their product, or they don't believe that the thing that they've got is actually good, that's very dangerous to be marketing or selling that. Yeah. If you don't believe it yourself, my God, then it's just lies.
Yeah. You will attract people who are, who don't believe in that system. Exactly.
Right. And you will attract liars because you are a liar. Yeah. And so you have to be the first person that is the customer. You have to be bought in. You have to believe it. And so, there's a lot of people selling shit that they don't actually believe. And that creates more karma. That creates very, very difficult situations. Exactly. I think putting out there things that you really, really believe to be true, there's always time and there's always space for that. And I couldn't recommend you as highly enough, given what I've witnessed and experienced over the last year. It's been really good, and the support has meant that I've been able to focus on what it is that I do well, which is not some of the things you do very, very well. So, a wholehearted recommendation for anyone who's looking for a guy to guide them through that process. It will save you time and money in the long term. It's very easy to spend a large amount of money on ads that don't work. Facebook will take your money. They don't give a shit, man. They will take all of your money. And so knowing where you're putting your money and having somebody to speak to is super valuable.
Great. So nice talking to you.
My pleasure.
And
yeah.
What is your future goals with Kailash Ashram?
Well, look, I think we have some nice our vision is every soul living in love. Like, we want to see this whole planet living in love, and we won't stop until the world is united in love. So we might need a few incarnations to do this, but we realize that place of love is a place inside. So you want to unite the world, unite your own heart first. So we believe that this big change starts small, and our focus is going to be on continuing our retreats, but also developing and building upon our community, and also, you know, potentially improving our facilities out here a little bit as time goes on.
Yeah.
You know, we believe in quality over quantity, you know, and so I
I
think
think,
our yeah.
you know, creating more Davids will also help people like you.
Yeah, well, exactly. And this is I think where, you know, the next step, depending on how we go, is helping other people utilize retreats as a vehicle for transformation. That would be very, very interesting. I mean, we've run probably more retreats than anyone else in Australia, I think, combined. I think, like, we're the retreat pros. And so, you know, like, using that knowledge to help other people see that retreats are a great way to share knowledge, not just spiritual knowledge, but you know, human beings are looking for these very deep immersive experiences. So potentially guiding people through that journey,
Yeah.
you know, but also, you know, helping disseminate more broadly, I think, is something that, you know, would be really great with you to explore over the next couple of years, is how can we create something that is sustainable, that gets these practices and the message further and all over the world for those that are seeking, you know.
Yeah.
And that, again, is like, that's a space where, you know, scaling and expanding digital offerings, yeah, like, you need support in that. You don't want to do that poorly. So
Yeah.
yeah, happy to be led in that, but, you know, also happy with family life and not making life too complex. I think, you know,
Yeah, complicated.
more is not always better. I think better is better.
Yeah,
And
I read your
sometimes,
last newsletter. Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad.
And the last question, like, what is your message for people who are starting with entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, you know, the thing that comes into my line, there's a great shloka from the Shiva Samhita, you know, the 7 steps that are required for success on the path of
Yeah.
yoga, and the first one is belief,
Yeah.
actually, that it will work. And so you need to believe in your thing, and you need to believe that the system will work. You have to have faith in the undertaking, like, call on whatever you believe to be up bigger than you, because it's not just about you. I think the third thing is, you need a guru, you need a guide, you need someone who's walked that way before you. You need to show 4 things. Fourth thing is restraint of your sense enjoyment. You might have to give up, like, you know, some pleasures in life and knuckle down and do some hard work. You Mitsahara, you need controlled intake of pure foods, and
Yeah.
that doesn't just mean food, that means knowledge and information. You need to listen to the right people, that is food as well, and stop putting your attention on things that pull you
Information diet.
down.
Information diet. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Healthy information diet. Be careful. Keep your eyes open, because marketers want to make money from you, but you can also learn how they do it. So you've got to always be careful. Sixth thing. I can't remember sixth thing, and there is no seventh thing. There's no seventh. So there's only 6. That's all. What the 6th one is going to bug me right now. But, you know, if you've got belief in yourself, faith, you've got a good guide,
Yeah.
you don't
You're
party
ready
too
to,
hard, you
yeah.
do a bit of work,
Yeah.
and you make sure that you're restrained in what you're putting into yourself. That's a good formula, if there ever was one, for success. So, you know, it's been wisdom that's good, you know, a couple of 100 years old at least. So you know, it worked in yoga. I think it works in entrepreneurship, and in this space as well. Life and yoga are the same thing. There's no separation. What makes a good yogi is what makes a good entrepreneur, you know. And a good entrepreneur isn't the one who has the most amount of money. A good entrepreneur is the one who can look themselves in the mirror at the end of the day and love what they see and love their life. You don't need to. I mean, I'm sure there are days that Elon Musk looks at himself in the mirror and goes, "What have I done?" You know, all the money in the world can't make you happy. So that purpose-led mission is absolutely vital.
Great, great. So it was a pleasure talking to you, David.
My
Thanks
pleasure,
for
Vishnu.
being here. And for the people who are watching it, to learn more about what David do, you can visit kailash.co, KAILASH.co. That is his website. And yep. So thank you, David.
Cheers, Vishnu.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah.